back to week 2 of the spare bedroom makeover. Anyhow, I told you there'd be a few surprises this week, and I'm really excited how they turned out. It is fantastic when you have a thought in here on how something should turn out, and it actually turns out just the way you have it pictured. And this is one of them. Let me show you. In my video where I showed you things I look for to pick up, I picked up this. And it's supposed to be mounted on the wall the other direction and hold flowers. But I told my son what I wanted, drew it out, and see if you can tell with it lit up. They turned out great. I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. It was a little more expensive than I thought. I've got the window boxes off. I'm getting ready to make some curtains for in here. And the other thing that I got done, and I'm going to show you how I did it, for the doors, I used some other things that I showed you in the video on things I look for, and these turned out really cute, and I will show you how I did the doors. Okay, these are shutters that I'm going to use for doors like you've seen in the other videos. I like to use them. The one on the top is falling apart, and I took out the middle pieces. The one next to it, the glue is pretty solid in it, and I don't want to damage the wood trying to pry it apart. So I'm going to take a Dremel and cut down the middle so I can get those louvers out. And I have a surprise on how I'm going to decorate these little doors up for a cabinet I'm going to make. I wanted to show you, after you get the joint compound on, you just take a scrubby, kitchen scrubby thingy, like this, and you can just lightly go over it. There's no sanding. Let me show you here. You just take off the excess, and it doesn't make a dusty mess. This works great for this kind of application, but you cannot use it on like tabletops or something that's going to get banged around. This side I have not started on, so I'll show you. Comes off real easy. And then the holes on the edge of the shutter are filled in, so when I paint it, nobody will ever notice that part. It took 2 coats of the joint compound because it does shrink when it dries. So let it dry overnight and then repeat it. See? Here's one of the doors for my cabinet that I'm making. And the center part is from gutter guard, and then I put a piece of material on the back side. I'm going to show you how I did that. Here's the gutter guard. It's a plastic flexible roll, and I bought it for like 50 cents at a flea market. It was probably left over from somebody's project, and it's rolled like this. So when you're cutting it, lay it down like this so you're not fighting it rolling up on you. And I just used the grate pattern itself. Let's see if I can get that in there. The grate pattern itself to cut it. I did not mark it or anything. I just took regular household scissors and cut it, and then laid it down. And then on the back side, I just put a piece of leftover material that I had from a quilting project, and I want to show you if I can find a biased edge. If you can see this when you buy some material, if you buy some material, there's one side of your material that has got like a finished edge. That would be the edge of the roll. And then the width-wise, I forget the bias, and I think this is the bias. Anyhow, this way is not stretchy, so I would start with that side and staple it on so you can get it tight, and then go to the other side, because if you start on this side, it's a little stretchy and you'll get frustrated, or if you're cutting it the other way off the bolt, I'd start at the ends when you roll it out. And this way, do it tight from side to side, and then come back and staple your ends. I'm laying out the cabinet that I want to put together with the pallet wood. It's not in the best shape, but once I get some paint on it, it'll look better. And I always try to do a tip or two, or I have been trying to do a tip or two. See this knot? If you were painting this wood and did not do anything with it, this knot would bleed through and you wouldn't be happy. So when you're painting wood that's like pine that's knotty, either take polyurethane lacquer or shellac and go over that one coat, let it dry, and then it won't bleed through. You'll be much happier. And another thing that I like to do is, if you've got a screw that's stripped and it won't hold in a hole, is put a little bit of white glue and break a toothpick in there to take up the space, and then your screw should hold.